Hello again and welcome back to Leon Eats, where today we'll be making 2 potato gnocchi. Now the potatoes we're going to be using are a sweet potato and a regular potato, where we have a combined total of 1 kilo of potatoes. And what you want to do with your potatoes is you want to wrap them in foil after having pricked them several times to let the steam out. Then you're going to put them into the oven at 180 for about an hour, or until a knife easily cuts through. As you can see, I've also let down my hair just to relax, because we're going to get into some kneading and rolling action of all the flour. So we've just roasted our potatoes for an hour and then let them cool down before scooping out the flesh into a bowl. Now, as you can see here, we've got 2 bowls, because what we're going to do is we're going to create 2 different types of gnocchi. And what you're going to do is just going to split it in half to, 450, 500 grams per bowl. And then you just want to mash your potato together. And we're going to put a cup of flour into each of these 2 bowls.
Would you like a spoon?
I think I'd like a spoon. Right, the next thing you want to do is get your spices. Now, because we made this rocket dill very easy, quick green pesto, we've decided for the first one we're going to go with half a teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of herbs of Provence, which is just basically a mix of different herbs like savory, thyme, rosemary, tarragon. Just pour it right over the flour. And because this is very much a hands-on type of recipe, just give it a quick stir around into the flour. And the next thing you'll do to that is you'll just create a small well in the middle in which to add your egg. So for this half of the gnocchi, we're going to make a tomato-based sauce for it, which we'll go over in another video. So anyway, the spices for this gnocchi that we're going for is again half a teaspoon of salt just to flavor it. We're going to use half a teaspoon of smoked paprika, half a teaspoon of hot paprika, just for that little bit of hit in there. A 1/4 teaspoon of allspice and a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, just to bring out the sweetness of the sweet potato. And the next bit, of course, is just 1 medium egg into each bowl. Okay, so at this point you're just going to deal with the 2 different types of gnocchi separately. So we're going to leave this one to one side. And what you're going to do is just break the egg with your hand and really just get in there and start mixing it around, Don't be shy to get your hands nice and dirty with it. Don't worry if you start to find this mixture too wet. As the flour combines more and more, it will become more and more dry. And what you basically want to do is not add too much flour in order to maintain that nice potato fluffiness. Okay, so now that you've incorporated it all together, the next bit is to roll it out. So first, flour your working surface. Again, with more tipo flour or plain flour, either is fine. Bring out your dough, which, as you can see, we've coated it in a bit of flour just to make it easier to work with. And then all you want to do after that is just break it into some pieces that are easy to handle. And then you're just going to basically roll it out into nice little logs. And the next thing you need, of course, is a fork to break it with. That big per piece. Now, in terms of giving it a nice pattern or coating for the sauce to stick onto, you can do any number of things. In the past, I've liked to create a little well with my thumb, or you can get a fork, very simply just press onto the top. So in terms of the number of pieces of gnocchi that you're looking to get for each of these halves, you're probably looking around up to 40 or so, again, depending on how big they are. So all you're going to do now is boil them first, and then we'll move on to the process of frying them. Now, the reason you want to boil them before you fry them is just to make sure all the flour is cooked all the way through. And believe me, when you start frying your gnocchi afterwards, you'll be absolutely amazed how much better it becomes to have a nice crispy but fluffy gnocchi inside of your mouth.
Beautiful.
Okay, so what you're doing is you're just frying it for a couple of minutes on either side till it gets a nice golden color. In the meantime, we're just going to crush up our nuts as well. In a minute or two, we're going to add in some pesto to warm through, and of course save some to put on top as well. Ready to go. Okay, and last but not least, which is completely optional, a scattering of dried chili flakes, just to give it a nice little spicy hit as well. Ooh, I'm looking forward to this. It's nice and soft and fluffy inside, just that crispness on the outside of the gnocchi as well. The nuts to give you a nice bit of crunch, the hit of chili in there. Trust me, this is a wonderful dinner, and I'm sure you guys will really come to love it and enjoy it. Definitely recommend giving it a go and making it in a big batch so you have some whenever you want. Anyway, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Give us a comment, a like, and subscribe. We look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until next time. Ah, you caught me trying to get more of our secret ingredient.
And what's that?
Well, garlic. We love to use lots of it in our recipes.
Why is that? You a vampire hunter?
No comment. But while you're there, why don't you smash that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.